regards to a female victim covered in blood, yelling and banging on doors in the area of 77 Natick Street. Hartford police officers as well as EMS and Hartford Fire responded to 77 Natick Street. There they located a 43-year-old Hartford resident victim suffering from many stab wounds all about her body. It was determined at this time that the victim was involved in a serious domestic violent altercation inside a vehicle in the area of 77 Natick Street minutes prior. It was also discovered during the course of the investigation that the victim's 6-year-old child was in the car at the time of the assaults. Unfortunately, the suspect fled, and with him he took the victim's 6-year-old child. All officers that were available at the time responded and conducted a thorough search of the city, as well as broadcasting the suspect vehicle, suspect description, as well as the child description to area units, as well as other agencies in the state of Connecticut and beyond. The vehicle was listed into the National Crime Information Center as a wanted vehicle, and the child was listed as a missing person endangered at the time. The Hartford Police Major Crimes Division Domestic Violence Unit, as well as our Special Investigative Division, responded to the scene and conducted a full investigation. They assumed control of the investigation by the Patrol Division at that time. At approximately 5:30 in the morning, Hartford Police Department was notified by the Worcester, Massachusetts Police Department that they received a call of a wandering child in the area of Providence Street in Worcester, Massachusetts. Patrol officers there responded and located the child, as well as the vehicle which was fleeing the scene at the time of the assault in Hartford. The suspect was not located. During the course of the investigation, a suspect was identified. A $500,000 warrant was listed: kidnapping second degree, criminal attempt to murder, assault first degree, and risk of injury to a minor. This morning, at approximately 5:30 this morning, New York Police Department notified the Hartford Police Department that they located the suspect at a McDonald's at Midtown North. This information was due to the fact that the Hartford Police Department had a cooperating witness that obtained the location of the suspect in New York. That information was then passed on to the New York City officials, and they took the suspect into custody. Currently, the suspect is being held as a fugitive from justice. Mr. Edgar Maldonado. Is there any questions at this time?
Talk about just finding him, this witness at the McDonald's. Is this someone that was familiar with him, that was able to kind of help you with this, or is it someone that knew his picture that was out there?
The cooperating witness knew the suspect and contacted the Hartford Police Department when they made contact with him. They subsequently notified us. We contacted New York City officials, and they took him into custody safely and without incident. He's currently held in New York as a fugitive from justice, awaiting extradition.
Any previous criminal history on this guy?
There is. There's several domestic violence arrests with this individual.
The location where the actual stabbing in the vehicle happened, is this anywhere near the home of the victim, or was this just a location while they were driving around? And
we're not sure exactly why they're at that particular intersection.
Where's the child now?
Undisclosed location with the Massachusetts Department of Children and Families.
Can you talk about, just if you know, how serious the injuries were? I mean, we know 30 times where she was stabbed, and it seems like it was pretty horrific.
Yeah, from my understanding from the patrol officers, a lot of the injuries were defensive wounds to the hands and arms, but she did suffer some critical injuries to her body, her torso. So she's still in critical condition at this time, but she has been stabilized.
And any idea what led to this assault? Was it an argument, or that's all under investigation?
We don't know. Obviously, she's in critical care right now, and we're looking to interview her. We tried to obtain as much information from her as possible at the scene. Obviously, our concern was her safety, her, getting her to the hospital, as well as locating her child. So we will be interviewing her in the future shortly, as well as a suspect when he comes back to Hartford.
You guys know what kind of knife it was, and did you ever find it?
We don't. We received information from the Worcester Police that when the vehicle was recovered, that a bladed weapon was located in plain view inside the vehicle. So the Hartford Police Major Crimes Division have conducted a search warrant on that vehicle. So we're waiting to get that car back here so we can actually conduct the actual search.
When do you expect Maldonado to be back in Hartford?
We're not sure. There's a process with fugitives, so he has to waive extradition, and as soon as that happens, our fugitive team will go to New York and bring him back to Hartford.
What has Maldonado said so far to police?
Hartford police officers have not interviewed him. We don't know what he said to New York police officials. They've been with him all day, so since 5:30 this morning, rather. So we don't have any information in regards to what conversation they had.
The other domestic violence charges that he has faced in the past, is he the same victim? Or?
I don't believe so. It's over the course of several years. So this relationship, from my understanding, was a recent relationship.
How does it complicate matters when you have an investigation that spans 3 states?
It does. We have a lot of communications, a lot of agencies, state police, DCF, local police. We deal with Amtrak, with Connecticut Transits, everybody that we can. Obviously, we even reach into some of the social media apps, Uber, Lyft, and whatnot, taxi companies. So it's a lot of moving parts, and it's difficult, it's tedious, but we get through it. We have a team of detectives and officers that are each working a specific function in a case like this to try to expedite it as quick as possible. So yeah, a lot of moving parts. No investigation is really quite simple, but when you run into 3 states like this, yeah, there's a lot to go on, and it typically takes longer. Thankfully, he was in custody in, I believe, about 29 hours from the time of incident, so we're happy with that.
Is there word that he used Uber, mass transit to make his way from Worcester to New York?
We're looking into that right now. Obviously, he drove the car, or somebody drove him to Worcester, Massachusetts, where the child was dropped off there. We're not sure exactly how the child got dropped off there, or if it was in fact him that dropped the car off there. So there may have been another point of transit at that time. So we're looking into that as well. In regards to how he got to those locations, we're not sure. Like I said, we haven't interviewed him yet. That's going to be a long process, and those will be supplemental reports that will go along with the affidavit at court.
Do you anticipate possibly that at some point today he may release the 911 calls?
Likely we will. I talked to our sergeant that's in charge of our FOI, and obviously yesterday with the holiday being there, there was some concerns and some issues with getting that. So we're going to try to get that out as soon as possible.
Any idea how long the boy was by himself?
We don't know. We got the call the child was wandering. The police officers in Worcester responded almost immediately, so they found the kid immediately. So as far as how long he was there before the 911 call happened, we're not sure.
He was considered a missing person in danger at the time. Talk about just the process of an Amber Alert, and why in this particular case that was not something that was issued in this instance.
The process was occurring at that time, so there is a process for Amber Alerts. The Amber Alerts, obviously, it helps out with social media and electronic billboards on the interstate and otherwise. There's 4 criteria that need to be met in regards to that, and this one particularly did meet that criteria. While we were in the process of entering that Amber Alert, the child was located, so we didn't have to do that. But the child was entered into NCIC as a missing person almost immediately. We still had to find out the vehicle that he was in, the suspect, so there is criteria that we needed to meet. So we had to find, as soon as we met all 4 of those criteria, we were in the process of it, and the child was located.
Any change in the condition of the victim?
She's
She's still unstable?
still in critical but stable condition. And obviously our concern is for the child's welfare as well. Hopefully the child was sleeping when this assault occurred. So the mental health and the physical health of the child is also our priority.
And the thinking is still around 30 stab wounds she suffered?
Yeah, the doctor said at least 30 stab wounds at the time. So yeah, very, very critical. She's very lucky, and some of those stab wounds were very critical.
What's your message for anyone that may be experiencing domestic violence, the resources that are out there and available to them?
There's a Connecticut Domestic Violence Coalition. Here at the police department, we have detectives assigned to domestic violence units. You can get help. There is counseling available anywhere. Seek your friends, seek family, the police. Many factors in the city, Department of Children and Families, they help out as well. So yeah, domestic violence, they're tough ones.
Not to get too far off the rails, but there is a new law that just went into effect yesterday where a police department is now responsible for at least trying to determine who the primary aggressor is in a domestic violence situation. Can you talk a little bit about what kinds of things may go into making that determination?
Sure, I'm glad you asked that. At the Hartford Police Department here, we very much are, we concentrate specifically on primary aggressor. We always have. The Connecticut Domestic Violence Coalition comes out with a report every year, and Hartford Police routinely is one of the agencies, leading agencies in the state in regards to not making dual arrests, arresting the primary aggressor. So this is nothing new to us. We're happy that it's here, and I think all law enforcement entities are happy with this change, that the primary aggressor is the one that would be the person that would be arrested.
The suspect's identity one more time, if you don't mind.
Edgar Maldonado, December 26, 1995.
You guys are not releasing the names of the victim at this time?
It's a domestic violence incident, and based upon, we're looking at her safety right now and the child as well, but in the future we will be. Anything else?
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you.